You know, and also, like, you know, it was a long weekend here, you know? Cut us a
holiday.
break. You know what time it is right now? We're recording this? It's like 12:30 in the morning we're recording this. Just for you guys, you know?
We're putting in the hustle.
Appreciate what we're doing right now. I'm just kidding, you know. Just please keep listening.
Yeah, we're gonna take it up a few notches right now. See if y'all can keep up.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 10 of the ScruffCast. I'm Dan.
And I'm John.
Episode 10, John. Did you ever think we'd make it this far?
It's hard to believe we reached double digits.
It's hard to believe that there's some people listening to this. Listen to 9 episodes already.
So after this one, it's going to be around 10 hours of quality content. That's like as much time as there is in one season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I'd say the quality of Game of Thrones is probably much higher than this podcast.
But we're free.
We are free.
You don't need no HBO.
You don't need HBO to listen to us. Anyway, I got a funny story. Okay, I'm going to start this off. Dan. This just happened like hours ago. I was over at my fiance's house. I'm going to try to get through this without giggling because I don't know, I thought it was so funny. Now, I want everybody to try to visualize this story. So, at my fiance's house here in Canada, I don't know if it's a holiday anywhere else in the world.
In the United States, today was President's Day.
There
so, spoilers, we're recording this on President's Day.
Yeah, so it's Family Day today here in Canada, so it was a holiday. So, went over to my fiance's house. She had a ton of her family over. Aunts, uncles, cousins, the whole bit. So, like me, her brothers, and her cousins were in the basement, just all hanging out, whatever. And so, her brother has this, like, you know those basketball hoops? Like just the little ones you put on, like, the door?
Yeah.
You know, like the plastic ones with the little tiny ball. So they have one of those, right? So, we're in the basement, and so they decided to hook that up. And we were watching some of the slam dunk contest.
Okay.
Some of like the footage from over the weekend, right? So they were trying to do like stupid dunks and stuff like that. But the thing was, like, we're in the basement, so the ceiling's a little lower. And so, like, one of our brothers is like 6'3", and the other one's maybe 6'1", 6'2". Like, they're pretty tall guys.
Yeah.
And so, like, they can't really jump that high, right? So they're kind of got to do a little hop, duck their head, and like try to do some cool moves with the ball. So the one brother goes, does something. The next brother goes, he does something. So the next one goes, and he's like, I'm going to do something really cool. So he, like, tries to do some, like, like, between the legs, like, spin around his back dunk, and he, like, messes up the first time, right? So he's like, oh, let me try again. So he goes to do it again, and he, like, goes, and as he lands, he slips, like, because the ground's slippery, falls, and, like, just eats shit, which, like, that was funny enough, right?
Yeah.
So we're all laughing. So he gets up, and someone's like, oh my God, there's a hole in the wall. And so his foot went through the wall. Like, through the drywall. Oh my God, I was, like, in tears laughing.
Oh man, that's a missed dunk for sure.
Oh, it was so funny. Just like the heel of his foot, right through the wall. That was it. I just, like, I was laughing for a couple hours about it. It was so funny.
That was the holiday festivities for one half the ScruffCast.
Yeah, that was it.
All right, enough funny business. We tackle the tough topics.
What is the tough topic today?
So the first tough topic. Oh, well, it's not as tough as some of the stuff we've talked about in the past. But, well, first we should actually say we've reached 10 episodes. Some people might be tuning in for the first time, and they're like, what's the ScruffCast?
Yeah.
And the ScruffCast is...
Listen to the other 9 episodes. You'll know what we're all about.
Pretty much. But that's just kind of sitting around, tackling the tough topics, talking about sports, current events, news.
Yeah, talking about whatever.
Talking about whatever. If you're confused and you want to know what's going on, you should be following us on Twitter at ScruffCast or sending us emails at scruffcast@gmail.com. Anyways, into the tough topics. So I read a news story earlier this week that was talking about a pilot program they're doing at a prison in New York, in New York State, where the prisoners are going to get iPads.
Wow.
Yeah, so let me read you a little bit of info from the news story here. So inmates in New York State prisons will soon be able to read ebooks, listen to music, email family members while in prison, all from their own iPads. The New York Department of Corrections and Community Supervision entered into a deal with JPay, which is like a private corporation. Okay. And it's going to provide all New York State prison inmates with a tablet, but that's what the news story says, but specifically it's iPads.
Okay.
So JPay is a company. They provide technology services, help those who are incarcerated stay connected with people outside prison, yada, yada, yada. There's approximately a little over 50,000 inmates in New York State prisons right now. So what the company is doing is providing the inmates with these iPads to make it easier for people like related to these inmates, like outside of prison, to send the money. And then as a result, the inmates can use the iPads to check their balances and stuff.
I got a question right off the top here. Why do inmates need money?
Well, there's like a commissary, right? So you can, like, in prison, you can buy, like, different items and stuff, like, I don't know, toothpaste and stuff. Now, I don't know anybody who's been to prison. I'm just going off of, like, what I watched on, like, Orange is the New Black, which is, like, a TV show.
Oh, yeah, like,
but
I just picture, like, Shawshank Redemption.
I don't think it's like
jails,
that.
like, they're betting cigarettes and stuff like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if that stuff still goes on, but you can use the money to buy, like, things from, like, a little store inside the prison itself, right?
Okay.
Because they're not going to provide all of this stuff, right?
I just assumed they did.
Maybe it's different in different areas, but
anyway, yeah.
People want to send their loved ones in prison money, so maybe they're like, yeah, I still believe you're innocent. Here, I'm going to send you my money every week.
Okay.
So they said that the tablets will provide inmates with, and this is in quotes here, the ability to access free educational material, and they'll also be able to file grievances with the prison directly from the iPad.
File grievances.
Yeah. It's too rough in here.
Yeah, like, come on.
So apparently, one important thing to note is the iPads aren't being paid for by taxes. Interestingly, they're provided for free as part of a deal between the Department of Corrections Community Supervision and this private corporation, JPay, right, to start a pilot electronic financial system designed to let family friends send money to people in prison more easily. So the question I have is, do you what do you think about this?
I think it's a little crazy. Like, the whole point of going to jail is, like, you did something wrong, and now you have to pay the consequences for it. You got to spend the rest of your, well, not the rest of your life all the time, but
whatever the
however much
sentence
time it is in jail, away from your family, away from everything. And why are they? I don't understand why they're making things easier for prisoners. If anything, they should be making things, like, harder, or not harder, but just keep them the same. Why are they making things easier for prisoners? You want to read? They got libraries of books. Go get a book and read.
I actually read a story, a news article, this is a couple of years ago now, about a prison in Brazil where what they were doing was taking 1 week off the total time of the sentence for every book that a prisoner read and did a book report on.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
Probably up to a certain amount of time. Right?
Yeah.
Taken off, but still, right, encouraging them to read books. And I know there are different ways you can, like, take classes and stuff, and different sort of educational, like, materials and things provided.
Yeah, I know you can get, like, degrees and stuff like that.
You can too. I believe that's true. So yeah, my main question was, what do you think about it, right? And I kind of agree. Like, if you're in prison, right, you're not there to be sitting around and playing on your iPad, reading ebooks and stuff. I get it's definitely easier than...
Prisoners are just sitting there playing Candy Crush all day, you know?
I get it's definitely easier than sending, actual physical books around. But still, like, they're sitting around with iPads. That's what my little brother does. He's 12. He's sitting back, watching YouTube on his iPad, hanging out.
These guys are in there watching Logan Paul.
Maybe that's what got them in there in the first place.
We said we weren't going to bring him up anymore, and there's been so much crap going on about him lately.
And we've specifically
avoided it. That's it. We're back on the avoiding him train. Continue, please, John.
So the one big thing for me that's important is it's not being paid for by taxes. Because if I had my tax money, now this was assuming we're like citizens of New York State here. If I had my tax money being used to buy iPads for prisoners, I'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
No bueno. I would not be for that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. What does this do? What does the company gain out of this?
Well, the company is probably charging the prison for making it easier for these people's loved ones and families to send them money.
Why does the prison care?
Well, in the United States, prisons are like for profit. Right, so they're corporations, which that's its own entire issue, which is messed up. But
I thought it was all like government controlled. Like,
well, there's like tons of regulations and stuff, but there are like companies that have bottom lines that run these prisons. Now, I don't know if that's like all prisons.
On a prison.
Well, people got to pay for stuff.
Yeah,
right?
but
Like
you also have
the
to
government is paying. Like if the government has criminals and they're like, are like, okay, we got to put them somewhere.
The government pays to put a criminal in jail.
I suppose so. I
Yeah,
imagine
okay,
a bunch of
okay.
it's funded by grants and tax money and stuff like that. Obviously, this again is in a scenario of people come to the ScruffCast. You don't come for like the 100% informed opinions.
No. I have no idea anything about prisons.
We're just going off the cuff here. I
Didn't even know you had to buy toothpaste. I thought it was just free.
I'm assuming.
Then again, you're getting your information from a Netflix TV show, so
Yeah, which I only watched the first 3 seasons of.
there we go. So,
But anyways,
oh boy.
I just thought it was interesting because, like, you picture prison, right? You don't picture people sitting around lounging with their iPads, hanging out, right? And my thought was, like, almost, should they have the right to do this? Like, if you commit a crime and you go to jail. Like, because this said all prisoners in New York State prisons.
Yeah, the whole state.
The whole state. Right? So,
It
like,
was like
50,000.
51,000 prisoners.
yeah, so that's a lot of iPads, right? So if it was being paid for by taxes, it would be absurd. My thing is, like, should they even be allowed? You're going to jail to, like, pay a penance for your crimes you committed.
Absolutely.
Right? Should you be allowed to hang out and read ebooks, email family members and stuff? I almost
No.
feel like that right should be taken away. It's not even really a right, but that privilege. I almost feel like it should be taken away.
That's one of the things that sucks about being in jail. It's like, oh my God, I can't see my family, can't contact them as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's still, like, your family can come visit you, right? There's, like, visitation times and stuff like that. But still.
I don't understand. Like, it's like they're just making prisons cushy. You know what I mean? Oh, here's some iPads.
Yeah, they're just sitting around hanging out.
Enjoy.
They get their family back home to pay for a Netflix account and give them the sign-in.
I know.
Now they're just lounging back and they're like, wow, did you know they got 13 seasons of American Dad on here? I'm set for a whole week. Right? Like, it's ridiculous.
That's the thing, right? Like, I don't understand, like, what purpose this serves at all. Oh, so they can send them money. Like,
Well, the two people it benefits are the prisoners themselves, who obviously...
Yeah.
I mean, come on, if you got to sit around in jail,
They're
you got all
getting
this time to
iPads.
kill. Yeah, I want an iPad. Why not?
yeah.
But also JPay, this company, which I haven't actually looked much into this company, and this is the first I've heard of them. But this deal with the New York State prisons is like a pilot program. So if it goes well here, I don't know what sort of metrics they're going to use to measure whether or not it goes well.
Yeah.
They're just going to expand it out,
Yeah.
right? It's just making it easier for them to send money to the prisoners, and then it's probably too hard to lock the iPads down to do
Like, is it
only
is
so
it
few
that
functions.
is it that difficult right now to send money to prisoners?
I have no idea. I
imagine
don't
you
know
just-
anybody who's been to prison.
I don't know. Like, send some cash, bring some cash over to them.
I don't think you walk into a prison waving around wads of cash. I think
the
that's
prisoners aren't
not
going
a
to get
good
you.
idea.
They're locked up.
I guess, but still,
I know you shouldn't like send cash in a letter either, but
no. But like when you're in prison, they read through all your mail and everything. It's like pre-opened and they scan it and everything. Because there's like crazy lengths people go to smuggle stuff into prison. I've seen like where they've like melted like heroin into like a fine film and applied it on like greeting cards and stuff.
oh my God.
Yeah, and then they gotta like peel it off and like remelt it down. It's like insane. There's like tons of documentaries on Netflix. There's one that talks about like the world's toughest prisons. They're not getting iPads there.
Right, yeah. I've seen some of those. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it just seems like a soft stance on prisons,
Yeah, it's almost like turning into like a, like a really crappy vacation resort. Because if like you commit these white collar crimes, some of these guys go to like these cushy ass prisons where you're playing tennis. You're wearing a polo in prison.
No, seriously. If like I was talking about this yesterday to somebody, I forget, and I was saying like I think I might just go try to commit like fraud or something like that, or tax evasion, because like if you get away with it, you wind up with piles of money, and if you get caught, you go to this cushy jail where you're playing tennis every day, you're getting your meals. Nobody's trying to stab you. Nobody's like got a shiv trying to.
Not in those white collar prisons.
No. And then you just live in a nice little resort for a couple years, and then you're back out.
Oh, yeah.
It's a win-win.
Especially if you're like down in like one of the lower states, like California,
Yeah.
where you got that nice palm tree weather playing tennis.
Oh, boy. That'd be nice.
Bueno.
Yeah.
The rare bueno.
Oh,
that might be the
yeah.
first one.
Oh, wow.
First one through our 10 episode run. So I just thought it was an interesting sort of thing I read in the news. Not exactly what you expect.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not a fan. I don't see the point.
I agree. All right, Dan, do you want to take the next one here?
Yeah, hold on. Let me get the show notes going here because I don't even know what the next one is.
That's how off the cuff we are here on the ScruffCast.
Oh, okay. So, women wins lottery but wants to be anonymous.
Not just any lottery. $560 million US lottery.
Holy Jesus.
Yes.
You know, I haven't even read any of these, so how about you take this one away?
All right, I'll take the reins on
like
this
I said this last week, I'm learning with everybody, you know?
That's how we do it. It's educational.
I'm like a listener that gets to sit here and voice my opinion to you.
If any of those prisoners are out there listening to the ScruffCast on their iPad, first, give us a nice review on iTunes. It wouldn't hurt.
That's what we do. We try to get the ScruffCast into prisons. We email JPay. We try to get, our ScruffCast already subscribed onto the iPad.
Our numbers
Boom! We're in the prisons.
Our numbers go through the roof.
I think they will.
I could just imagine them hanging out in the yard. Yo, have you heard the new one about the ScruffCast? They're talking about us in prison. Well, if you're out there, you can email us, scruffcast@gmail.com.
And the prisoners can do that because they all have iPads.
They all have iPads.
Maybe they can tell us that if you got to pay for toothpaste or not.
Yeah, maybe we're totally wrong. Educate us. We want to learn.
All right.
On to the next thing here. So a woman in the United States won the Powerball jackpot, $560 million. So this was back in beginning of January, I believe she won. And normally, these things kind of come up in the news like, wow, huge lottery jackpot, right? But the thing that makes this case particularly interesting is the woman has refused to cash her ticket in so far because she wants to remain anonymous. Because normally when you win, there's actually a law, I believe, in the United States. It's
the right to know law.
The right to know law. Where you have to sort of reveal yourself and be like, hey, Susan M. from New Hampshire.
Which I think that's also here, too.
Yeah, I believe they do that in Canada as well. Because it's to help convince the public that, these lotteries aren't just a scam. Real people are actually winning. Right? Because imagine it's $500 million jackpot, anonymous winner. That could be you. You'd be like, these jackpots don't exist. They're making this up.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah, I never looked at it that way. I get it.
So the woman has refused to cash the ticket in so far, and I believe she's actually going to court to try and get them to rule that she can claim the ticket while being anonymous. And with that amount of money, if she were to put it away, I read that she's actually missing out on $14K worth of interest every day. Just that would be piling up. But that's practically nothing compared to the $560 million. After tax, you take a big lump sum. You're still north of $350 million plus, which is an absurd amount of money.
Yeah.
And this woman won all that money, and she's still holding true. She's like, no, I'm not cashing it in. She's holding true. All that money just sitting there tempting her.
Yeah.
Imagine she had won, and she's like, I'm not cashing it in, and she had died between then and now.
Yeah, it's
missing out on all that money. It's absurd.
I get her. I get her point of view on this because I wouldn't I've thought about that too. If I won the lottery or something like that. Imagine you win $40-50 million. Oh, you got to hold that big stupid check up, and you're in the newspaper and on TV and stuff. They're just putting a target on your back. It's this woman won $560 million.
Oh, yeah. It's absurd.
They're putting a target on your back. Hey, everybody, this person's new money right here.
Oh, yeah, the person you went to high school with, you stepped on their shoe one time 25 years ago. Hey, remember when you stepped on my Nikes back then?
Yeah.
Well, I want my all my money.
Wait for all the sexual assault cases coming out now on her.
Yeah, it's going to be
wait and see. They're going to be all over that trying to get their pennies, I'll tell you that.
It's going to be the flip side,
yeah.
Right? This is the case of the woman sexually assaulting the man.
It does happen sometimes.
It happens.
So I've heard. I don't know.
They're out there. Yeah, definitely hasn't happened to us.
No. Yet, it's tough because I'm sure within the lottery, within buying a ticket and, signing the ticket and whatnot, I'm sure if you actually, read the rules and whatnot, I'm sure it's part of the agreement, right? Of purchasing a lottery ticket that if you win, you have to, you know what I mean? It's the right to know law or whatever, and you have to expose yourself or, whatnot about winning. You got to say, hey, I'm the winner, this and that, right? Which I get why the lottery wants to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because nobody would just believe that people are actually winning out there. With
This is rigged, this is a scam. I get that, but at the same time, I understand why the woman wouldn't want to be, you know what I mean, targeted.
Revealed.
Yeah, revealed. I get it.
Yeah, one of the articles I read about this actually linked to a couple of stories of people who won the lottery and then got killed or attacked.
Yeah.
In the couple months after, I read a story where 7 thugs went in and kicked down this guy's door and actually killed him.
Oh my god!
Right, and in that case, the guy won a much smaller amount. It was maybe 20 or 30 million, which is still a lot of money. But the reason this woman is so steadfast on not revealing her identity is apparently she's really involved in the community and she lives in a small town.
Yeah.
Right. So instantly everyone is gonna know oh, look at Jane, she won all that money.
Yeah, and she probably just wants to go about her daily business as she always did before, right?
Right. She just wants maybe go on vacation, take care of her family.
If you want that kind of money and your face is all over the news, you'd have to disappear for a year.
Yeah, you'd need bodyguards and
Boom,
stuff.
off the radar. Go to some island for a year, live there, come back when everybody kind of forgets about it.
Yeah.
What a shitty way to live. You know what I mean? You just won $560 million and you can't even really enjoy it.
Yeah, because now you have to worry about having this target on your back.
Yeah.
That's an absurd amount of money. There's cases of, rich people, one guy who's, a billionaire in Brazil. His son got, kidnapped, straight out of the movies. Kidnapped, and they sent the ransom letter. So you had to give him, I don't remember, it was, tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah,
right? It's absurd, so I can't imagine.
Same kind of thing could happen here in this situation.
Yeah, especially when it's not somebody who's, a wealthy businessman or something. It's this money was just sprung on you.
Yeah, there's a good chance you haven't hired a security team and this and that yet for whatever, right? You're probably just living in your normal house you did before, but now you have $560 million in your bank account. Crazy.
It's crazy, but what surprised me is that this woman has had the will to hold out for this long.
I know. I would have just given in and been like, all right, give me the money.
Apparently she won January 6th was when it was drawn.
So that's over a month now, a month and a half.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so she's going to court.
Which is also your birthday.
Which is also my birthday.
January 6th. Crazy.
So she's going to court to try and convince them to let her redeem the jackpot without revealing herself. But apparently one complication is that she already signed the winning ticket.
Oh.
Right? So she's actually asking them to be allowed to white out her information, replace it with the name of a trust that she's going to set up to redeem the money. Because that's one thing I've heard. In order to avoid revealing yourself like this, people will set up sort of a shell company or an LLC or something like that, and then have the LLC redeem the ticket.
Oh, okay.
Right? So then it's not technically under your name. It's some shell business that redeems it that you own.
Right.
Which is kind of shady, kind of circumvents the entire right to know law, but if it's a loophole, why not, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I get both sides of it. How the running these lotteries, you want to show hey, people are actually getting this money. But I also understand as winning that money, I wouldn't want anybody to know that I won that money.
No way. Yeah, people coming out of the woodwork you haven't seen in years.
Yeah, forget about friends, family, and whatnot, right? It's you just the random people. You just put a target on your back. You got the red cape, and the bulls are coming after you. Except that you're wrapped in that red cape, and you're tied to a chair. You can't go anywhere. You can just hobble around. That's it. Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, I agree with this woman, but I do not know how she could hold out that long.
Yeah, and I don't know if she's going to be able to win this battle. That's for sure. Did you hear about the guy who bought the tickets to the Red Hot Chili Peppers concert? Well, so he thought anyway.
No, I haven't, Dan. Tell me more.
All right, I'll tell you about it, John. Okay, so there's a guy. He lives in, I don't know if he lives in London or I'm not sure what it was. Anyway, so
somewhere in Europe.
Somewhere in Europe. And so this guy bought tickets to go see the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and he bought these tickets. It was also right around Valentine's Day. So he figured, okay, this is great. The concert was in Belfast in Ireland. So he said, this is great. I could take my girlfriend or wife, whichever one it is, there and kill two birds with one stone. We see the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it's kind of the Valentine's Day gift. This is great. Except the only issue was he kind of just went on, bought the tickets quick, and he paid, what was it? 30 euro. So 52 Canadian bucks. As we paid for these tickets, and he was kind of shocked, like, oh my God, I can't believe I got these tickets so cheap. The only thing is he didn't buy tickets for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. He bought them for the Red Hot Chili Pipers, which is a bagpipe band.
According to their website, they are the most famous bagpipe band on the planet ever.
Ever. The Red Hot Chili Pipers. So this is hilarious, if you ask me. I think.
And the guy and his girlfriend or wife or whatever it is actually had to fly there. So they had to book a flight. They're staying there. They got hotel accommodations, pumped up, Valentine's Day. Let's go see the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And then they look at the ticket and find out it's the Pipers.
See, I didn't even finish reading this. Did he get all the way to the concert and realize that it was the Red Hot Chili Pipers?
So they bought. So reading the article here, which we'll post. Maybe we'll post this on our Twitter account. So if you want to follow us there at ScruffCast to get all these extra little tidbits of the stuff we talk about on the show. He bought the tickets around Christmas time. Had the tickets, brought them back, posted them up on a pinup board at his house or something like that. And they sat there from then until now.
Yeah.
And neither him or his girlfriend or wife, whatever it may be, noticed. Then they booked a flight, they booked the hotel accommodations, they fly there. Only 3 days before the actual concert, they notice. And the guy tweeted about it. And he said, still can't believe we've flown over to Belfast, not for the Chili Peppers, but to see the world's best bagpipe band, the Chili Pipers. Thought I got a good rate deal on these tickets. Had a nightmare. Which is just hilarious.
It's so funny. But, what did this guy think? Oh, Red Hot Chili Peppers for $40. No way. I'm going to hop all over these tickets.
Yeah, I got a great deal.
Yeah, we all know that all these ticket companies are screwing us. So there's no way you're getting...
We talked about that on one of the previous episodes
already. I think it's hilarious. You can't... he can't even be mad. You know what I mean? He didn't pay attention to what he was buying.
It kind of raises an interesting question, though, because... Obviously, it's on you as a consumer to know what you're buying.
Yeah.
Right? And the name is clearly Red Hot Chili Pipers. I'm almost getting confused as I'm saying it between peppers and pipers.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because should you be allowed to name yourself or brand yourself or market yourself as something so close to something already well known? Right?
Yeah.
And you're obviously not nearly as well known. The Chili Pipers, right? The whole, I'm sure they have actual fans that are I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
They got the blue check mark on Twitter.
Once you got the blue check mark, you're in.
Yeah, you're a big deal.
But should you be allowed to brand yourself so closely to something more well known? Imagine you're sweet, I just got these awesome tickets to Justin Timberlake, and you think it's his concert, right? Yeah. And it's actually some riff on the Great British Bake Off show, and you're like, what the hell's this? Right? It'd be garbage.
I know what you mean, but at the end, yeah, no, it's products too, right? If, I don't know, someone selling an iPad, but, it's the iFad. That's not even a good example of it. But you get what I mean, right? But it's similar enough in name where, I'm getting an iPad for $100 or whatever it is, right? It turns out it's not what it is. But it's a legitimate company who sells these ghetto tablets.
Yeah, I could.
That was a terrible...
That was a... I was going to let it slide. I was going to let it slide.
Thank you.
But I just find it almost a little unethical, almost kind of shady, because it's also a music act, right?
Yeah.
And the whole riff is the Red Hot Chili Pipers, right? And they play the bagpipes. And apparently this happens kind of common for the kind of frequently for these guys. So they've actually made talked to Newsweek, who was the first people who broke, if you could even use that term for the breaking news.
Yeah.
About this. And they said, in quotes here, "We're always extremely careful in all advertising. We've made sure to put kits and bagpipes on all the pictures. We would never ever try to pass ourselves off as the Red Hot Chili Peppers. We respect them too much." Which I get. Of course, you don't want, to fool these people because they're just going to show up and everybody's going to be pissed off every time they watch you guys.
Yeah. Oh, but they know what they're doing.
Oh,
They
yeah.
know. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
There's another example of another person posted on Twitter, and they said here, Nathan and I have been excited for weeks because I got him the best Christmas present to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers live tonight. Discovered 10 minutes ago that I had bought tickets to see the Red Hot Chili Pipers. Guess we will see you tonight. And then hashtag new fans.
Hashtag new fans.
And then they, proceeded to go to the show, have a fun time, but
Maybe they're really good.
maybe they are good. But I just find it's like a little shady.
It's a little shady. Yeah.
Like in this case, you could kind of let it go. But I find like you could market yourself so closely to something else. It's almost like you're just sort of like pawning off of their fame, right?
Yeah.
Like imagine somebody came up with, a podcast that's not nearly as good as this quality product, and they called themselves like a riff on the ScruffCast. They were like the ScruffCast or something, right? And then we have tons of fans, so now they're starting to like leech off some of our fans. I'd be a little like, oi, what the heck?
Yeah. Gonna catch these hands.
You're gonna catch these hands.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No. Yeah, no, it is a little shady. I'll give it that, but I don't know. Is it legal?
I suppose so. It's in the end, it's on the consumer to know what you're buying.
Yeah, it is still on the consumer, right?
Speaking of shady, though, I'll let you take the next one, Dan.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. We weren't really going to get into any sexual assault stuff this episode.
We're probably at like a 30% rate, 30% of the episodes.
It's just all about sexual assault.
We're going to have to start putting trigger warnings in our descriptions.
Yeah. So we weren't originally going to get into it, but I kind of read this article that's a little interesting, and I have like kind of more to the story. So there's a band here in Canada. I think they're mostly just big in Canada. I don't think they're huge in the States. Band's called Headley, and they're fairly big here. For sure, they play arenas and everything. So if anybody doesn't know who Headley is, they're a Canadian band. They kind of got big because the singer of the band was on one of the first couple seasons of Canadian Idol, which is obviously the Canadian version of American Idol. Jacob Hogard, that's his name. So he made it to the top 3 in Canadian Idol, lost, formed his own band, and they got really big, and they got famous, and they got tons of songs all over the radio, this and that. So anyway, about a week ago, they're being accused online of sexual assault. Like it's the band. It's not one person from the band. It's like the whole band in general of sexually assaulting like their fans at meet and greets or whatever it may be. Fans as young as 14 years old.
Ooh.
Yeah. So now I got kind of more to this story. So this is back when we were in high school. Me and some friends, John was not included in this. We played in a band. We weren't good, and it's not like we were even close to the level of Headley or anything. But we got to play with a band who went on tour with Headley, who opened for Headley for a whole tour. And so we knew about that, so we got to talk to the guys, and we asked them. We said, oh my God, like, what are these guys like? What's Headley like? And they're like, I don't know, like, to be honest with you, like, these guys are kind of weird. And I was like, oh, like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, like, one time, I think it was like the bass player and the guitar player, bass player and the drummer, something like that. They invited us. They said, hey, we met some of these chicks. We're going to the movies. You guys want to come? So they were like, yeah, sure, we'll come. Why not?
And
right?
they're saying this to the other band.
Yeah, the band that we were playing with at the show, the opening band. So they said, yeah, sure. So 2 of them go, whatever, the singer and somebody else. They go to the movies with the girls. And these girls are like 16 years old, these fans. And so like the guys that from the band we're talking to were like, oh, like, what the hell? Like,
And how old are these guys?
The guys that were like, I don't know, they were maybe in their 20s.
So,
but
clearly
the
older.
guys in Headley are like at that point they were in their 30s for sure.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I think now they're in like their 40s. I'm pretty sure.
Ugh.
Yeah, so they said like, yeah, and they were like, bring it. And so like, I just like when I read that article, I was like, holy crap, you know? It's like I knew this already, like 10 years ago.
Definitely 10 years ago already.
Yeah, probably.
That's how long? Wow.
Something like that. Yeah, it would have been about 10 years ago that these guys were telling us about that. And they were, and this band or whatever, I don't even think this band exists anymore. Their name was Sydney. That was their name. But they were like, yeah, like the guys, they're a little weird, a little creepy, whatever, right? So that was kind of like the whole thing of this story was I found that really interesting reading that article, and now it's all kind of coming out and kind of piecing two and two together. Pretty interesting. John, you have anything to say about that?
I don't really have much to say. It's just shady.
Yeah, I didn't really get into the whole sexual assault part of the article because I just as soon as I read it, I kind of just pieced the two together and thought it was kind of interesting. And we've done enough of that sexual. There's enough of that going on right now. We don't need to talk about it anymore, but we will again, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're probably at like a 35% rate for these podcasts coming up with that topic. We tackled the tough topics.
Between racism and sexual assault, that's our...
Well, gender equality, we solved one of the other episodes.
It's solved now. We don't need to talk about that anymore.
Yeah, we've solved that. Do you have any other big, real-world issues you want us to solve?
We can handle it.
We can handle it.
Yeah.
And you can send us an email at scruffcast@gmail.com.
We're 10 episodes in. We got this covered. We can handle it all now.
Double digits.
Double digits.
It's time for Twitter to get on and give us that blue check mark now. At ScruffCast.
I think we're almost there. We should be getting blue check mark.
We should.
Anyway, I think that's about it for this podcast. Maybe a little shorter than the most. But
I feel like it was tightly packed. We brought you some news, like maybe things you weren't aware of.
Right? And also it was a long weekend here, Cut us a break. You know what time it is right now we're recording this? It's like 12:30 in the morning we're recording this. Just for you guys.
We're putting in the hustle.
Appreciate what we're doing right now. I'm just kidding. Just please keep listening.
And if you really, want to show your appreciation, if you're listening on an Apple device like an iPad, iPod, iPhone, or on a Mac, we'd really appreciate it if you would go into iTunes or the Apple Podcast app and give us a review.
Yep.
Hopefully 5 stars, but tell us what you think.
Realistically, this episode's probably like a 3-star episode.
But if
I didn't think we fully
out,
brought it today. We mailed it in a little bit. Wasn't our best episode. Wasn't our worst. Next week, though, we will bring it.
We're going to bring the fire and the fury.
Oh, I like it. We are going to do that.
We also post these up on YouTube each week. So if you're listening there, we'd appreciate, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We don't have any fancy URL like /ScruffCast yet. But
John does a lot of fancy artwork, a lot of Photoshop work with the photos, and they're always pretty funny. So it's worth checking them out too.
I'm buffing up my Photoshop skills, and they're just being kind of sitting away collecting dust.
Yeah.
Because we have like the least amount of our listens come from YouTube.
Oh,
but if you're out there,
yeah, go ahead, sir.
Leave a comment. Tell us what you think.
Oh, quickly, can we post the picture to the Twitter of of the 2 kids in the trench coat?
Yeah, there's another funny story this week. Like, when you think of like 2 kids, like pretending to be one really tall person to like sneak into the movie,
and like they sit on top of each other. One sits on the other one's shoulders, and they have the long trench coat, and they try to pretend they're one tall person. Like in a cartoon. This happens in cartoons and stuff like that, right?
This literally happened over the weekend. 2 kids trying to get into Black Panther.
It's funny. I think it's a video or it's a picture. We could probably find another one. We'll post it to Twitter though because it is super funny. You gotta check it out. It's
the kind of thing that happens in movies or TV shows that you don't think happens in real life. And these guys actually tried it. A 12-foot tall person trying to get into the movie, and the manager at the movie theaters was not having it.
That's right.
Was not having it.
That's right.
So if you want to, see all these fun little tidbits, follow us on Twitter at ScruffCast. Leave a review.
Yeah. If you don't have a Twitter, get a Twitter.
Send us an email. Yeah. I would say it's almost worth getting a Twitter just to follow us.
Yeah. And we also have an Instagram, right?
We have an Instagram as well, which I believe is the ScruffCast, because some jabroni out there already took up ScruffCast.
Look at what we're doing. We're just filling time right now.
Well, you know what? If the people are still here,
this is just white noise garbage we're just flinging out right now.
If the people are still listening, they probably want to,
I guess.
Get
We've
more
plugged everything we can plug. I don't think we have anything
we can
left.
Plug. Those fancy-ass photos I'm photoshopping, maybe I'll start putting those up on the Instagram as well.
Hopefully we've hit our 40 to 45-minute quota.
It's not a commitment, it's coming from our hearts.
We do our best.
Anyway,
that's it. We'll be better next week, we promise, and we'll see you then.